So this is the final practice before I start hunting. I'm also carrying pretty much what I will be carrying when I'm out hunting. As you know, I preach getting straight behind the rifle. What we're going to do today is shoot in awkward positions and just use natural point of aim to the best of our ability, despite not being able to be straight behind the rifle. So this is the classic surprise scenario. You take one step and suddenly you and the target are exposed to each other. Everything is wrong, you're in a bad place. And one of the things I find useful in these situations is acknowledge that you cannot control what the animal does. So just sink slowly out of view, and then I just start working towards a shot. Now, please note that I don't say I'm going to shoot that animal, because I have no idea whether or not I will be able to find a good shooting position here. And at this stage, basically everything is working against me. I'm not going to waste precious time looking at the target through the scope. I'm going straight for the rifle and I'm looking at the target through the scope. So we have identified the target, we have a safe background, and this is when I reach the decision to shoot the target, not before. I don't know the range, but I can see it with my eyes and it's right there. So trajectory will solve it. I do not worry about the laser rangefinder. And it's an uphill shot, and I will not complicate that further other than acknowledging that the bullet will strike just above the dot. Okay, we'll shoot, starting, breathe. Based on the hit, which was dead center, that should be something like 150-ish meters. Not enough to bother the trajectory. Now, what you should note is that I wasn't straight behind the rifle now, and it had a rather dramatic impact on the recoil impulse, and as you saw through the trigger cam, I was completely unable to stay on target. It just went way off. But the shot took okay, because I didn't rush anything and I didn't release the shot before the wobble was on center. Please note that I did not make the decision to shoot the target before it was identified. I had made sure I had a safe background and my wobble was acceptable. Also, I didn't faff around with the binoculars, I didn't do anything for range, and I just acknowledged that I was shooting at a fairly steep angle uphill. And it really isn't that complicated. Just acknowledge that the bullet will strike right above your crosshairs and aim accordingly. Okay, let's move on to the next situation. So that's 556, and it's approximately 30 degrees downhill. Now, this isn't a shot I would do hunting, but I wanted to do a difficult and scenic shot and walk you through the ballistics. We already did the mindset, you know, for the surprise and how I sort things, in what order I do things for the shooting. So this here is basically just to demonstrate how you can solve a fairly difficult shot with very simple techniques that we have shown you previously. Okay, so I'm on a very limited bit of real estate here. I actually have to watch my steps so I don't fall down. Okay, let's fire a shot and we'll see what sort of results we are getting. So 565, and I know that we are calibrated for colder weather and higher pressure because we're so high up. So we're just going to dial back to 550. See if we can get on target. It's too high. Okay, that's me on target, but it's also me almost falling off the... So, dead on for wind. Not seen. So that was, as predicted, going to be a failure. If you don't have the position, you don't have the shot. And it just doesn't matter what I try to do. Let's get down. Now, this on the other hand is a shot that I would take. It's reasonably close, it's still steep, but there is a risk of giving away the game if I try to approach the open area in front of the target. So there's plenty of real estate for me to find my position. So that should leave us with only trajectory and the ballistics and the wind call, and we should be able to score a good hit. The first thing I do is look for the real estate that the bipod needs to go. And the area in front of me here is flat. There's plenty of room for the bipod. So just pick any spot that lines up on the target and get behind the rifle, just as you would on the range. So by default my scope setting is 8. That means I have a good field of view and a reasonable magnification, and it should be easy to find the target. And you check parallax by just twisting back and forth until it is okay. That's fine. I have my target, I have my background, I have my range, I have my position. Almost forgot. Air defenders, silencers don't protect your hearing good enough. They only take the sound below the pain threshold. I've done a wind call. I have wind from the left. It's not very strong, so I'll just hold off a little. Because of the angle, I'll just acknowledge that the bullet will strike above my crosshair. Checking natural point of aim. Closing eyes, opening eyes, and I'm on the same spot. Perfect for elevation. Slight underestimation on the wind. So the first shot, I underestimated the wind and missed by perhaps 3 centimeters. But that is the way of things. I'm lying prone, fairly sheltered, and the moment I sit up like this, I can feel the wind much stronger up here. Because now the bullet is flying significantly above the ground, and it's not going to be as sheltered as it would be as I was down on the ground here. But that's a gradient wind. It's a typical beginner's error. And even if I had used my eyes and not been so distracted by cameras and loading the rifles and forgetting to do this and do that, I probably would have seen it and held harder than I did on the first shot. Never underestimate the importance of keeping your head on the job and not on the distractions. I think today was a good demonstration of that. I haven't loaded the rifle. Anyway, elevation was good, underestimated wind. Both shots would have killed. So that's the 300 shot. appears that we have one 600 here and another one up here, and of course that's pretty useless. Also, as I've said in previous season, the basic techniques I show you are not meant for those really long shots in awkward positions. Now it is quite essential that you understand that you must have basic marksmanship. Without that you cannot magic in the bullet on the target. If you do your homework, you have your position and you have the mindset, meaning never rush the shot, you're going to be very steady. The shooting I've done today isn't really in the tutorials, the teachings you can find in the previous seasons. This is more a reality check, and I more or less use these shootings to find my weak spots. My backpack is a tad heavy, especially when I'm carrying the steel, so I might want to lighten that before I start the chamois hunting. I shoot good because I focus on the basic techniques, but I also make mistakes when I'm distracted and don't follow the rules. Never underestimate the importance of keeping your head on the job and not on the distractions. Okay, just wish you good luck with your season. I'll be off in a few weeks and it looks like this year will be chamois, Austria, Croatia and maybe even Slovenia. We'll see. I suspect I run out of money and time.